So what's up, guys? In today's video, it's going to be like a podcast like video based off of the conversation I had with Shrizzles on the phone. And we talked about how different anime was back then. And I actually showed him anime. That's how Shrizzle got his start, when I actually showed him Dragon Ball. He took off and run with it. Now we're all watching anime all over the place together when I go to his house and when he comes to my house. But how anime changed. It went from Dragon Ball and the Big Four all the way to JJK, Chainsaw Man, and ReZero as popular Demon Slayer. Popular anime. It's kind of like a dark side. It changed. But if you have grown up in the 2000s, 90s, 2000s, you know we only had the Big Four. We had the Big Four. It's not much is streamed in America in the 90s. Back then was the 90s were the anime boom, and we had several anime booms. Now the 90s was the anime boom. Then we had Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach, and we had WB that would air that. Also with Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon, other TV shows that actually helped out the 90s and the 2000s, made anime what it is today. Also WB on a Saturday morning, but we also had Toonami that actually put out more anime like Yu Yu Hakusho, Cowboy Bebop, a lot of shows in the 2000s with Toonami actually took it into the next decade from the Big Four and actually put the Big Four in Toonami and some added more animes. And so we didn't have a lot of channels that produce anime streaming, like it does today. But I was born in the 90s but was raised in the 2000s. While Shrizzles, he actually grew up in the late 2000s, early 2010s, and he actually grew up with playing with Pokemon cards in school like I did when I was growing up. And Yu-Gi-Oh card. We used to have Yu-Gi-Oh, but he also played with Bakugan. And actually, it was actually getting to grow back in the 2010s. Now, we both had the same idea in the 2020s when TikTok and other streaming platforms arrived, like YouTube, and now is really pick up the pace with TikTok. And now TikTok anime crowd is different than the YouTube crowd, in my opinion. We talked about it. It seems like the anime TikTokers don't really have a big feel. I mean, you got YouTubers as subscribers to anime channels, and they read the manga. They have a pretty good understanding with anime and mangas and light novels, and we talk about it, really get into depth. While TikTokers are now this generation's anime boom. We had the 90s, that was a big first anime boom with the four anime shows, and now in the 2010s when it started getting darker with Death Note, and now with Steins Gate and SAO and ReZero. Now you got into the 2020s. They have Chainsaw Man, JJK, Demon Slayer, which is great shows, I will add. I will make videos on these. I have made videos in the past with these before, turned into basically all ReZero channel. I enjoy JJK and Chainsaw Man. And now it's like a darker animes this time, and it's a darker anime movement. This is like third anime boom. But this anime boom is a bit different. Everybody thinks anime is cool now. There's a lot of people that watch animes in schools and college, and in the middle of my age, I'm almost into my 30s. I'm in my late 20s, and I still love anime. A lot of people my age love anime all through probably age of 40. It's adult entertainment. But now, there's more people that actually enjoy anime that's younger than the 20s. And a lot of people, and I'm talking about in high school, a lot of people back in my day was getting picked on for like an anime, calling us weird, being dorks, weirdos, people that play in the trees in Narnia. And back then it was harsh if you liked to watch anime. But when Shrizzle's time, it was starting to get a little bit more momentum, but a little bit kind of weird still. But now, since the 2020s, after COVID, especially after COVID, when COVID, the anime boom, the third anime boom really took off, is when everybody sat at home, basically played video games. And even if it was a bad time, even though it was, I was still having fun watching anime and playing video games about every dang hour. It was really fun because I'm a loner anyway, and we got our buddies, but you can't go nowhere. But that's just how it is. But during that time, it had a third anime boom, and now everybody likes anime. And ever since that time, I even had an anime TikTok myself, and I haven't posted it in a little while. I got back and on and off. It's hard to come up with 15-second videos. But during that 2020 anime boom, TikTokers of anime, when TikTok was going flying high, everybody that liked anime don't really understand a lot of these shows, especially the old ones. They will hate on Dragon Ball. Like, oh my goodness, that's a Dragon Ball guy, let's hate on him. Because if you have any anime fight, they're going to be angry at him. And back then, a lot of animes back then, a lot of people enjoyed different animes. Now, a lot of people are kind of picky about animes these days, in my opinion. I like Slice of Life. I love Love is War. I like Nagatoro. Now, there's more hate because the generation, also political, but a lot of people getting together because of politics and stuff, trying to get into anime, and we're butting them out because it's adult entertainment. But this new anime generation, anime boom, a lot of these guys that watch anime don't really get the point. I think some of these people just want to do it just like they want to act cool. A lot of people just do it now just to act cool. And just for big examples, like a lot of these Hollywood guys and women, like Megan Stallion, probably have no clue what she's talking about in anime. Just does it just to get more attention. That's a bad rep for anime. Now you got some of these people, not all of them, but we have a pretty good, decent amount of people in anime TikTok. That's actually a third anime boom. Don't really get the perspective as we do now as YouTubers and people that watch YouTube videos as anime, and get the idea and interact in live streams. One of the ones in TikTok as a third generation of this anime boom. They don't really grasp it, and I don't think they really care about the anime like we do on YouTube, and it's basically the new cool thing, even though when it was not cool in my generation and still in Trizzle's generation, I didn't care if it was cool or not. I was still doing what I want to do, and I enjoyed anime, and I was that kind of guy. I don't care. I'm gonna watch anime until I kick the bucket. I don't really care. That's what it is now and back then. Trizzle does too, even though he's waiting on a video like Black and Fist. And he has to make a video later, and we're calling you out, Trizzles. But we didn't care, and now it's a new cool thing, and it made it into this big phenomenon. Another because of anime TikTok. Anime has became a big thing on TikTok. People didn't know about it until after 2020. It was like, it started with this anime dance of Darling in the Franxx, and it turned into another character of Hinata. It was a form of dance, and that's when TikTok became cool. Back in 2020, 2021, anime TikTok was very cool. Then, in 2022 and 23, it was like still okay, but it was still having a lot of good times. I was trying something new. But during that time of my anime TikTok run, when I was doing YouTube still full time, I realized a lot of people is different with anime TikTok than YouTube TikTok. It had changed a lot. A lot of these new guys don't even watch the old animes. They just base off new ones, and they call the old animes trash. Actually, without those old animes, you would not get the new ones. The big four, what made anime today. You don't see anime like the old ones, like Dragon Ball and One Piece and Bleach and Naruto. And you don't have those as much based on that. But it made it grow into bigger genres. The Slice for Life was awesome. The Nagatoro and Love is War. Now, yeah, Black Clover. Then you have JJK, Death Note, Steingate, Log Horizon, SAO. Even though SAO gets hated, is one of my favorite animes besides rezero. Without those big four, you wouldn't have the new one. So I want every anime to be appreciated. And now, anime TikTok has changed so much from 2020 to 2025. 2024 and 2025 is probably the worst anime TikTok the last couple of years. The last 2 years has not been very fun for anime TikTok. Now it's a bunch of AMVs. There used to be people that made memes of anime TikToks or videos of anime people dancing and stuff back then. But now it's like boring because not a lot of people have opinions about anime as a video. Now it's just a bunch of AMVs going crazy and just posting up manga strips. And now anime TikTok has become boring. And now one day anime TikTok will die, and I believe it will, because since it was the cool new thing for 4 or 5 years, now it's starting to fade, and you see the real people that truly enjoy anime. But the good thing about anime on TikTok and the third anime boom in the 2020s after COVID was it got more mainstream than it already is. It became major live stream with girls liking Soul Eater. That's just like Sailor Moon back in the day with women. Now it's like Soul Eater, and everybody likes JJK and Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer. Those animes are just like the big four compared to the other big four in the past. The guys in the 2000s that grew up and the 2010s have the strongest nostalgia of anime and had the biggest time of anime, one of the greatest transitions in anime history. Everybody from the 80s to the 90s with the anime boom with the big four, but also the 2000s and the 2010 when it took, like, okay, the end of Dragon Ball and Naruto and One Piece, all that shonen, when it transitioned to Death Note, Lock Horizon, SAO, it took anime into a brand new boom. And now it's the third boom with anime TikTok a couple years ago with Chainsaw Man and JJK. But there is one thing for sure. Anime will always change, but the shows will be also great, and there are also some shows that are not so great. But that's what makes anime great.